Hey guys, Dominique Galbraith here. So I'm not gonna call it angry, I'm not gonna call it grief, but I was so filled with righteous indignation for seeing pictures of Kamala Harris at Jamal Bryant's church. But you see, seeing the vice president in the church was not what grieved me. Seeing that the church had a communist symbol clenching the cross of Jesus Christ is what stirred up righteous indignation. Because you see the ideology behind that communist fist that we think is about empowering Black people. The ideology behind that fist teaches that your God is the oppressor. Then, after seeing that image, I came across a video from my sister Christina sharing about a friend of hers who's also a pro-life activist, who happens to be an atheist and who was in the church that Sunday and did something that many Christians in this country either will not do, refuse to do, or don't agree with what she said.
I've been thinking about something that my friend Teresa did. She is a pro-life activist. She started POW, Progressive Anti-Abortion Uprising. She is an atheist, and she went into a church this Sunday because Vice President Harris was speaking. She said the church read a verse about Esther and not being silent, and that encouraged her to stand up and call out VP Harris for her radical support of abortion. And I'm just provoked by her courage. This is an atheist and she's in a church. This is a white woman and she's in a room full of Black people, and she's definitely the outsider in multiple ways, but she's being a voice for the voiceless.
So here we have an atheist woman visiting a church. Okay, she happens to be pro-life, and she hears them reading the scripture of Esther that warned against remaining silent. And that atheist woman was stirred up enough to stand up and cry aloud and spare not on the behalf of the unborn children. And you know what that Black congregation did? And there's a reason why I'm pointing out that they were Black. You know what that congregation did? They sang over her and escorted her out. God has to raise up an atheist woman to rebuke the church. Kamala Harris's main talking point is abortion. You're a Black woman representing Black women, and your main talking point is abortion. Speaking on the very thing that was created, and I am talking about legalized abortion in America, that was intended to get rid of us. How can you be a pro-Black church that stands in support of a woman who supports what was meant to destroy, what has destroyed, what is destroying the Black community? And so God had to send an atheist white woman to rebuke you. What are we even doing here? Now, I remember when Barack Obama was president and gay marriage was legalized in America. And Jamal Bryant, you were one of the pastors that stood up. I remember seeing you, I believe it was on CNN. You stood up and you called out the President of the United States for legalizing gay marriage. You stood up as a man of God. And it seems like after that, you've never been the same. What happened? How did you go from standing for righteousness, for standing for true justice, to siding against it? I don't know if my people understand the roots behind legalized abortion in America. And so I'm going to leave y'all with this clip, and I'm going to go about my day and go pray, because this is...
All of a sudden, we were given this free thing from the Society of America, abortion. 78% of your free abortion clinics were placed in black and urban areas for the purpose of something free of charge from a racist society. As to put it in the words of one pro-abortionist, we don't need so many Negroes anymore. There's no more cotton to pick. These feelings about black people, this was one way of doing it as a social benefit, if you will. We're here to help you. Black women, and let it be stated, black women never demonstrated, demanded, or even requested the right to an abortion.
Many point to a 1923 New York Times interview as proof of Sanger's racist motives, in which she referred to people as weeds, saying,
"It means the release and cultivation of the better racial elements in our society and the gradual suppression, elimination, and eventual extirpation of defective stocks, those human weeds which threaten the blooming of the finest flowers of American civilization."
Hayden Ludwig, an investigative researcher, has extensively studied Sanger's life and writings.
She talked about the need for race betterment through controlling these weeds, basically undesirable people.
In 1939, after opening another clinic in Harlem, the birth control activist launched the Negro Project, an initiative supported by black leaders, such as civil rights activist W.E.B. Du Bois. Critics claim the program used the pretense of better health and family planning for poor blacks in the South as an attempt to limit the black race. Ludwig says some on the left grapple with Sanger's past and how to interpret her legacy.
They know when she writes about human weeds, they know that it's repulsive. They know it's disgusting. The left will never abandon Margaret Sanger, because if they do, she's the foundation of so many of their views.
Sanger once shared her vision for a preferred race at a women's branch of the Ku Klux Klan, writing in her autobiography,
"Always, to me, any aroused group was a good group."
Despite those views, liberals praise Sanger's work while ignoring her history.
I admire Margaret Sanger enormously. Her courage, her tenacity, her vision. I am really in awe of her.